What's up everyone, Alex here. It's been a few years since I first played through Sea of Stars, and even now, it's left an indelible mark on me as a gamer. It wasn't just another nostalgic throwback, it was one of those rare games that felt like it was made with genuine heart. With its stunning pixel art, satisfying combat, and a surprisingly emotional story that didn't rely on convoluted twists, Sea of Stars left a lasting impression by staying sincere. Since then, the game's been updated and its battle system reworked, and many players who waited for these patches ended up with an even richer experience. So when I heard that we were getting a free DLC called Throes of the Watchmaker, I had two immediate thoughts. How? And where do I sign up? Thankfully, the folks over at Sabotage Studio heard the call and have generously sponsored this review of this DLC. But as always, I don't take on sponsorships unless I'm free to share my honest thoughts, the good and the bad. And fortunately, there's a lot of good to talk about here. Throes of the Watchmaker picks up after the true ending of the main campaign. That's important. This isn't some side story or mid-game detour. It's a direct continuation, meant for players who saw the full journey through to the end. You'll travel to Horlog, a strange pocket dimension found inside an ancient timepiece. At the center of it all is the Puppeteer, a mischievously malevolent ringmaster pulling strings from the shadows. She also happens to be a twisted manifestation of the Watchmaker, causing all sorts of chaos in Horlog. If it's been a while since you've played, here's a quick refresher. Sea of Stars uses a turn-based battle system with timed hits, where pressing a button at just the right moment can increase your damage or block incoming attacks. There's also a lock system, where breaking specific damage types can cancel enemy moves. It's simple on the surface, but there's a lot of depth, especially with status effects, combo skills, and party synergy. Much like the base game, Throes of the Watchmaker features a shared leveling system, where the entire party grows together. In this DLC, it's been cleverly renamed Renown, a nod to the performative flair of Horlog's carnival-inspired world. It's a streamlined approach that ensures that every character, new or returning, feels relevant and battle-ready from the start. With that foundation in place, the real excitement comes from the new classes. Valaire takes on the mantle of an acrobat, trading in her focused martial discipline. Her new style feels like a natural evolution, one that swaps spiritual intensity for agile theatrics, mirroring the carnival chaos around her. Zale, on the other hand, becomes a juggler, abandoning the blade in favor of a combat style that's flashier and full of personality. And then there's Artie, the Artificer. If you remember the quirky engineer robot from earlier in the game, he's now fully playable, bringing a laser-focused toolkit of ranged attacks and support skills. He's not just comic relief anymore, he's a legitimate part of your party. These new classes don't just change how your characters function, they change your rhythm. For a piece of post-game content, it's refreshing to see the developers hit the reset button in a way that's narratively justified. It avoids that common JRPG DLC pitfall, where you jump back in only to realize that you'll have to remember your entire build from the base game because, for some reason, the DLC can't import your saves properly. Throes of the Watchmaker sidesteps that frustration entirely, and the circus theme makes the shift feel intentional, even inviting. It's a clever way to bring players back in, both mechanically and narratively. While there are many classic inspirations that Sea of Stars draws upon, one influence behind Throes of the Watchmaker comes from a rather surprising source: Persona. This DLC is fascinating in how it pushes its cast to confront a kind of inner darkness, a reflection of themselves that feels like a long overdue exploration of their identities. It's not just narrative fluff either. This development is woven directly into the design of Horlog itself. These areas feel like physical manifestations of each character's struggles or unspoken truths, elevating what might have been surface-level traits into something far more meaningful. In a way, it's like the developers built palaces, one for each of the main cast's personas, no pun intended, but see what I did there? And invited us to explore them through gameplay. It's bold, thematically rich, and above all, fun and challenging in a way that feels both new and emotionally rewarding. Musically, this DLC absolutely delivers. Eric W. Brown returns as the lead composer, joined by guest tracks from Yasunori Mitsuda, whose legacy with Chrono Trigger makes his involvement feel especially meaningful. The soundtrack blends ticking rhythms with dreamy synth textures, perfectly capturing the mechanical yet whimsical tone of Horlog. It's a cohesive atmospheric score that complements the setting without overpowering it, and continues the game's tradition of exceptional audio design. Visually, Throes of the Watchmaker only strengthens the case for Sea of Stars as one of the most breathtaking pixel art games ever made. But Horlog isn't your typical world of gears and machinery. Instead, the developers have blended the weighty industrial aesthetic with organic shapes and flourishes, creating a striking visual contrast that keeps exploration feeling fresh and alive. This careful balance brings a real sense of wonder and discovery to each area, especially as you solve its puzzles and uncover its secrets. It's imaginative, richly detailed, and full of personality. And if the Chrono Trigger influences weren't already clear, Throes of the Watchmaker makes the connection even stronger the moment you step into the town of Horlog. It's hard not to think of the Millennium Fair, with colorful tents lining the area, each offering different games, challenges, and wares. The visuals, music, even the energy of the space, everything about it evokes that same sense of wonder and discovery. It's a clear homage, and one that fans of Chrono Trigger will instantly recognize and appreciate. As you might expect, Throes of the Watchmaker also throws in a number of other callbacks to classic JRPGs, and it's not so particularly subtle about it. The moment I realized I'd be fighting a runaway train, I knew exactly what was coming. All that said, Throes of the Watchmaker is still Sea of Stars, even with a brand new world to explore and new abilities unique to this DLC. And that means you'll still be solving plenty of required puzzles along the way. So if puzzles weren't your favorite part of the base game, just know that they're still very much present here. That said, I've always enjoyed the kind of exploration Sea of Stars offers, and in this DLC, it feels even more refined. The design of Horlog's areas is noticeably more streamlined, with far less bloat compared to some of the zones in the base game. It rewards exploration in a way that feels deliberate, bringing its level and world design more in line with some of the great 16-bit classics. Coming back to Sea of Stars after all this time reminded me just how well it holds up. Even after playing dozens of other RPGs, there's something about its pacing, writing, and presentation that still feels remarkably fresh. Revisiting it for this DLC brought back exactly why I connected with it so strongly in the first place. And honestly, that kind of lasting resonance is rare. I remember one RPG in particular where they dropped DLC at random 2 years after launch, and by then, all that emotional momentum had faded. The world, the characters, even just trying to reallocate hundreds of skill points into a build I hadn't touched in years made it feel more like homework than a homecoming. But the moment Throes of the Watchmaker started, I was right back in it, instantly swept up in the world again, like I'd never left. With all that said, the ultimate question is this: is Throes of the Watchmaker worth playing? If you loved Sea of Stars, the answer is an easy yes. It's free, it's polished, and it deepens both the emotional and mechanical experience of a game that already felt timeless. But more than that, Throes of the Watchmaker feels like a love letter. A final encore for a game born from passion, nostalgia, and an unwavering desire to create something special. From its Kickstarter beginnings to its critically acclaimed launch, through updates like Dawn of the Equinox, and now this expansive DLC, it's clear that Sea of Stars wasn't just a project for Sabotage Studio. It was a dream. Every screen, every note, every line of dialogue feels like it was crafted with care. And as much as Throes gives us more time with these characters and this world, it also reminds us why we fell in love with it in the first place. So if this really is the final chapter then, what a beautiful way to end the journey.